This wasn't just another random live stream. This was the exact moment when everything blew up. Dr. Jackie hit the Go Live button, and within seconds, thousands of people joined in. There was no makeup, no fancy filter, no polished look. It was just her shaking voice, face streaked with tears, and a confession no one expected. "I didn't do this on my own," she said, her voice breaking. "David made me go along with it. He threatened me. He controlled me. He told me if I didn't help him, he'd destroy me." And just like that, the internet erupted. Before people could even process what she said, David Jr., her stepson, joined live. Without hesitation, he threw gasoline on the fire. "My mom is lying," he said coldly. "This was her idea. She planned everything. My dad is innocent." She framed him to protect herself. What started as a tearful confession instantly turned into an all-out family war. And it didn't stop there. Tiffany, TIA, and Portia, David's daughters, went live together in retaliation. They were furious, sobbing, screaming, their voices raw with emotion. "You used our mother like she was nothing," Tiffany shouted, fists tight with rage. "You and Dad both. You didn't just hurt her body, you crushed her spirit." Portia held up what looked like a leaked medical report, while TIA dropped another bombshell. "We're taking this to court." "You're done, Jackie. We're not staying silent anymore." Social media exploded. Receipts began pouring out, screenshots of texts, audio recordings, even security footage. One by one, private files spilled into the public eye. Then came the knockout punch, a voice note from Jackie herself. "I know it's wrong," she whispered, her voice shaking, "but siding with David is safer. He controls everything." "No one is safe," Jackie cried. David stayed silent, but the sisters, they weren't just defending their mom, they were declaring war. Jackie's live stream wasn't meant to be a confession. At least, not like this. Not so unfiltered, not so raw. But the second she looked into her front camera, mascara smeared, hands trembling, the world stopped scrolling. And in that moment, with thousands of eyes locked on her, she dropped a truth bomb no one was prepared for. "I didn't plan this. I didn't want this. David made me do it." The comments section exploded. People gasped, hearts dropped. Jackie wasn't just naming names, she was striking the match that set years of hidden pain on fire. According to her, she wasn't the mastermind. She was just a pawn in David Mon's twisted game of control. He said if I didn't help him, he'd ruin me. At first he offered money, protection, fame. But when I hesitated, he threatened me. I was scared. I was trapped. But this wasn't just about Jackie and David. This was about Tamla Mon, David's wife. The woman who had been betrayed. The woman Jackie once called sister. The woman who now stood in the middle of the storm. Shattered. When Jackie revealed that David had forced her into the affair, the internet snapped in half. Memes, reaction videos, YouTubers rushing to go live. Everyone had an opinion. And then came the next blow. David Jr. started his own live stream minutes later. His face was stone. No tears. No hesitation. "My mother is lying. She's no victim. She seduced my dad. She planned this. Now that she's trapped, she's pretending to be the victim. Don't believe her." The online world went wild. Suddenly, it was Team Jackie versus Team David. Truth versus lies. Family against family. David Jr. came armed with proof, or so he claimed. Screenshots, text messages, old conversations. He said Jackie had been scheming for years, even faking breakdowns to earn sympathy. But round 3 was on the way. The sisters Tiffany, TIA, and Portia weren't staying silent. They went live as a trio, their emotions boiling over. "Jackie, stop lying." Tiffany screamed into the camera, "You destroyed our mom and now you want pity." Portia, holding back tears, lifted up a medical report. "This is our mother's evaluation after she found out. You didn't just cheat, you broke her mind. You made her question herself." TIA dropped the hammer. "And to you, David Jr., protect Dad all you want, but we have receipts, messages, threats, recordings. We're going to court. We're done letting men run this story. We're taking the mic." The internet couldn't keep up. Screenshots, leaked audios, private texts, evidence poured out like floodwater. One voicemail had Jackie whispering, "I'm scared of David. He said if I tell anyone, I'll regret it." Another recording caught David's chilling voice, "Stick to the plan, Jackie. You don't want to be on my bad side." Still, David Jr. stood by his father. Still, the sisters swore Jackie was lying. At this point, it wasn't just about an affair. It was about years of control, silence, threats, and finally explosion. But then came the quietest voice of all. Tamela. She didn't go live. She didn't post a rant. She uploaded one single photo. A broken wedding ring sitting on top of an empty Bible. No caption, no words, just silence that screamed louder than any live stream. Fans cried. "This isn't drama anymore," they said. "This is destruction." But it wasn't over, because an anonymous leak, possibly from inside the Mon household, hit the internet. A voice note of Jackie from years earlier surfaced. "I know this is wrong," she said softly, "but David holds all the cards. I can't fight him. He's too powerful." Comments flew everywhere. So wait, was she forced? Or is she saving herself? Is anyone telling the truth? Nobody looked innocent anymore. The family was in flames, and every member carried the same last name. As the sisters prepared to take legal action, Jackie vanished from public view. Her PR team posted a single line: "Dr. Jackie is stepping away from all platforms to emotional trauma and ongoing legal threats." David Sr. stayed silent. David Jr. went live daily, defending his dad like it was his mission. Tia and Tiffany announced they were making a documentary to expose the lies, and Portia summed it up in one chilling sentence: "You want the real truth? You'll find it in the silence between our screens." This wasn't just a divided family, it was war, and the battlefield was Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and soon a courtroom. The next morning felt like the calm before another storm. News outlets ran wild. TMZ headlined: "Dr. Jackie claims David Mon orchestrated a fair family war erupts." Then came a bombshell leak. Someone, possibly from Tamela's legal team, released sealed documents showing she had filed for separation 6 months earlier. Not only that, she had also requested a restraining order against David. Her reasons: emotional coercion, psychological intimidation, years of control. One chilling line from her affidavit hit fans hard. "He told me if I ever left him, no one would believe me. He said I'd be the crazy gospel wife who lost her mind. So I stayed quiet." But no more. The internet snapped again. #justice for Tamela trended worldwide. Even celebrities chimed in. Actress Kik Palmer reposted the quote and added, "This is what emotional abuse looks like. Believe women." Suddenly, Jackie's claims didn't sound so unbelievable. But Tiffany wasn't backing down. She uploaded a 15-minute video titled, "Dr. Jackie, the woman who led her way into our lives." In it, she laid out years of Jackie's involvement, from family trips to private events. She showed receipts, hotel bookings, photos, even checks signed by David. Her caption read, "This was before she said she was forced. Look how comfortable she was cashing that blood money." Then came the harshest proof yet. A voicemail of Jackie telling a friend, "Tamela's boring. She doesn't deserve David. I'm the one who keeps him alive." The backlash was brutal. Even Jackie's defenders turned cold. "She's not just a victim," fans said. "She's the snake in the garden." Still, Jackie's supporters kept digging. They found old clips of David cutting Tamela off in interviews, moments where she looked nervous and withdrawn. Even an old video where Tamela froze at Jackie's name and David quickly changed the subject. Red flags everywhere. Then Jackie's legal team hit back with a lawsuit against David Sr. They claimed he ruined her reputation, coerced her in the workplace, and caused long-term emotional damage. They presented an alleged NDA she was forced to sign, late-night emails where David called her his spiritual soulmate, and even a blurry photo of the two in a hotel hallway at 2:44 a.m. But just when the world thought it couldn't get messier, another twist arrived. An anonymous woman, Melissa W., came forward. She claimed David had done the same thing to her 10 years earlier. In her words, "He told me his marriage was just for TV. that Tamila was only part of the brand, and with that, the war got darker and nowhere near its end. The story began with a secret. David told Jackie that what they had could be something real, but it had to stay hidden. He reassured her in late-night calls and whispered promises, telling her she wasn't crazy, only that he needed to protect his image. One day, he said, she would understand. Jackie believed him. She collected proof-filled emails, blurry photos, and even a saved voicemail where David's own voice said the words that would later haunt him. When she finally shared these pieces in a blog post, the internet caught fire. In less than an hour, the story went viral. At first, people had branded Jackie as the villain, the homewrecker who had ruined a family. But after her post, the tide turned. Suddenly, David was the one under fire. Fans labeled him a predator, a manipulator who pulled strings from behind the scenes. David's eldest son, David Jr., tried to hold the line. He defended his father and called the whole situation a witch hunt. But his voice started to tremble when the final leak surfaced. Someone released a private therapy session, yes, an actual therapy recording where David's wife, Tamila, broke down in tears. Her pain filled the room as she explained, "I wanted to leave him years ago, but he told me no one would believe me. They'd say I was crazy Tama again. So, I stayed quiet. I pretended to be perfect." She went on to confess that when she found out about Jackie, she screamed for hours. What hurt her most wasn't the cheating, it was the betrayal by someone who had called her sister while stabbing her in the back. Even worse, her young daughter had overheard her crying through the walls. That was the moment she knew she was done. The internet erupted. The leaked clip sparked tears, outrage, and solidarity for Tamila. But from David himself, there was only silence. No statement, no denial, no apology. His legal team simply announced that he was stepping back from public life, retreat mode. But the damage had already been done. Tamila filed to amend her case. What had begun as a separation was now a divorce, complete with evidence of psychological abuse. Fans rallied behind her. A GoFund was launched to help her rebuild her life. Hashtags like #ProtectTamila and #ExposeDavid trended for days. Jackie, once despised, even began receiving messages of support from women who had been manipulated in similar ways. The Mann family, once a proud, picture-perfect gospel empire, was now seen as the center of one of the internet's messiest betrayals. Jackie went silent. No more live streams. No more tears for the camera. But she wasn't gone. Her lawyer revealed that a tell-all interview was being filmed. It would include court-protected documents, voice recordings, and other evidence. The world braced itself, because if this next video was even half as explosive as the leaks already out, it would blow the roof off everything. And then, something no one expected happened. A grainy security video surfaced online. It showed Jackie walking into a hotel room with David 1 full week before she claimed he pressured her into anything. The clip was short but devastating. Within minutes, social media exploded. Hashtags like #LiarJackie and #TeamTamila forever dominated feeds. Bloggers and YouTubers broke down the timeline piece by piece, pointing out contradictions and outright lies. Sympathy for Jackie started to vanish, but the revelations didn't stop there. Tiffany, one of Tamila and David's daughters, went live on Instagram. This time she wasn't alone. She was joined by a hotel staff member who confirmed she had served wine to Jackie and David that same night. They were laughing, the woman said. She wasn't scared. She looked happy. Tiffany's voice shook with rage. Looking into the camera, she begged her mother to stop. And then came the most shocking silence of all. David Jr., who had once defended his father and called Jackie a liar, posted a simple black screen on his Instagram story with 2 words, "I'm sorry." That silence was deafening. It told the world that even David Jr. had finally seen the truth. He no longer wanted to fight, but his sisters Tiffany, Tia, and Portia were far from finished. They held a press conference outside the courthouse, surrounded by fans, attorneys, and flashing cameras. Their energy was unstoppable. Portia spoke first. "We're not just fighting for our mother anymore. We're fighting for every woman who has been silenced, every daughter who has been manipulated, every victim who had their truth twisted by power. TIA followed with fury. Dr. Jackie, you made us believe you were a victim, but you weren't. You collaborated with our abuser. That makes you no different. Tiffany ended the speech with a dagger. If even David Jr. can wake up and see the truth, then so can the world. We're not backing down. Not from Jackie, not from David, not from anyone. The press conference spread everywhere, from church gossip blogs to mainstream news. The story was now impossible to ignore. Then came the courtroom bombshell. Dr. Jackie was subpoenaed. She had to testify under oath about her involvement with David. On the stand, she cracked. Her voice trembled, but the judge showed no sympathy. The prosecutor played the voicemail, then the hotel video, and finally the voice note where Jackie admitted David had threatened to destroy her if she didn't help him. When asked if she had assisted David in hiding assets from Tamila during the divorce, Jackie hesitated. The silence was crushing, and then she whispered the word no one expected. Yes. Gasps filled the courtroom. A woman screamed. Tiffany broke down crying. TIA stormed out, and Portia covered her mouth in shock. Jackie had just admitted she wasn't pressured at all, she had been paid. It seemed like the final blow. But hours later, David himself appeared at the courthouse. He wasn't scheduled to be there, yet he walked in wearing a crisp suit and a faint smile. Reporters swarmed as he approached the podium, and then he spoke. I will no longer deny the truth. I hurt Tamila. I betrayed my vows. I misled my children. I'm sorry. The courtroom froze, and then he turned toward Jackie. And Jackie, you are never innocent in this. But I forgive you. The word forgive landed like a bomb. TIA, watching the live stream, screamed at her phone. Forgive. You ruined us. Everything shifted in that moment. The story was no longer just about infidelity or betrayal. It was about accountability, public, legal, and deeply personal. The fallout was brutal. David Jr. posted another video, whispering, I don't know who I am anymore. I lost my mom. I lost my dad. I lost myself. It went viral, shared millions of times. For the first time, the public saw the family not as celebrities, but as human beings torn apart by secrets. This wasn't just another scandal. It felt like a funeral for trust. The Mann family, once admired, was now reduced to court transcripts, Instagram battles, and endless speculation. Jackie stood alone, no allies, no defense, no redemption. She tried to release a final statement to explain herself, but no one cared. The public had moved on. This wasn't just gossip anymore. It was a legacy shattered in real time. What began as whispers grew into courtroom confessions. A family once seen as strong and faithful collapsed under the weight of lies and manipulation. Tamila, scarred but determined, became the face of survival. Tiffany's rage, Tia's fiery speeches, and Portia's quiet heartbreak painted a picture of daughters who didn't ask for this war, but were now leading a fight for truth. David's late apology couldn't undo the years of harm. David Jr.'s silence screamed louder than any defense, and Jackie, her tears and excuses couldn't erase the damage. So the question remains, what happens now? Can a family this broken ever heal? Can children ever trust again when the hands that once held them were the same ones that betrayed them? This isn't just Jackie's story. It belongs to every woman who has been manipulated, every daughter who has discovered her mother's lies, every family shattered behind closed doors. And the world is still watching, because this story is far from over.